Now from the top, make it drop. That's some wet. That's some wet. Now get a bucket and I'm.
What's poppin', y'all? It's your girl. What's poppin', y'all? It's your girl Ghetto Princess, and I'm back with another video. Okay, period. Anyway, y'all, as y'all can tell by the title down below, y'all already know what your girl's finna be doing today. And that's on period. Like, that's just that. So let's just jump right into the video. Okay, y'all. So I want to say the story time took place back when I was 19, 20. No, I was 20 years old. I actually had just turned 20 years old. So back in 2017. I want to say this was actually close to the end of 2017 too. This was back in September. I have recently just found that I was pregnant with my oldest daughter. And I was just going through a lot with sperm donor. If y'all don't know who sperm donor is, go to my last video and just watch that video so that way y'all can get an understanding of who I'm talking about. So me and sperm donor was going through a lot. You know, we had just found out we was pregnant. We wasn't really on good terms. Our relationship had dropped down hill 50 million times and stood there. So we actually did break up at that time, and you know, I was just minding my own business at that point. I was just pretty much taking in the fact that I was pregnant, you know, that I was just preparing myself to be a single mom pretty much. So I ended up, you know, waking up one morning and I was just scrolling down my timeline, you know, doing my usual morning shit before I actually get out of bed, and somebody had inboxed me. We just gonna call this person BD. We're gonna call this person BD because that's what he is to me now. If y'all don't know what BD is, it's baby dad. But yeah, so anyway, me and sperm donor was going through a lot, so I just ended up just cutting everybody off from the world, and I just, you know, began to be in my own little world. So BD ended up inboxing me, you know, and he, you know, kept asking me like, you got a boyfriend? Like, what's up? Where are you from? What's your name? This, that, and the third. And, you know, pretty much conversation went on. Now, obviously, I was pregnant, so I wasn't about to pursue or proceed with him. I wasn't about to pursue a relationship, you feel me? Obviously, I was pregnant. I wanted to respect me and my child. Fuck sperm donor. I didn't give a fuck about him. But I'm saying, I just wanted to respect me and the child that was growing inside of me. So, I told him, you know, like, eventually, in the midst of the conversation, I ended up telling him, like, look, I'm pregnant, whatever. I'll be 2 months pretty soon. You know, I'll be 2 months, like, next week. You feel me? So, I don't want to pursue nothing with you that's gonna make me feel like I'm disrespecting my child. So, he was like, okay, I'm cool with that. You feel me? He was like, we could be friends until, you know, whenever, like, it is what it is. So I ended up telling him, yeah, I'm cool with that. So BD was actually just somebody that I can talk to and vent to whenever I was upset, whenever I was happy, whenever I was feeling any type of emotion. I knew I could come to him. So eventually around 4 months, we're gonna fast forward to 4 months because I don't really remember too much about what happened in my pregnancy when it came down to BD. So eventually fast forward to 4 months, and I ended up cutting BD off. Because I ended up getting back with sperm donor, and we were trying to work on becoming a family, which never worked, by the way, just saying. So me and sperm donor were actually trying to work on our family and getting back together, because obviously I didn't want to be a single mom, and I didn't want my daughter to be raised in that type of home where, oh, you got to go to daddy's house every weekend. No, I didn't want none of that. So I ended up trying to work shit out with him. Obviously, like I said, that never worked. So this time didn't work. It wasn't no better than the last time. So me and him ended up going our separate ways again when I was about 5 months. Fast forward to 6 months. I got an inbox from BD, so I was type excited, you feel me, to have my friend back. Like, feel me, fuck it, whatever. I needed to talk to him about a lot anyway. So, you know, me and him ended up getting into details. I ended up speaking to him about every fucking thing that actually went down. Like, literally everything. My baby shower was coming up. Sperm donor wasn't putting no money in. My sister did all the work. Like, it was bad. So I ended up venting to him, you know. Eventually, fucked up to say, BD got cut off again. I know y'all probably like, yo, why the fuck you keep cutting this nigga off? Like, for sperm donor. Like, what is wrong with you, sis? So I ended up cutting BD off again for sperm donor. And me and sperm donor actually tried to work shit out after my baby shower. My baby shower was at 7 months. So I was talking to sperm donor. I mean, I was talking to BD for a little bit more. But, like I said, the whole situation with sperm donor didn't work once again. So here I am, 7.5, about to be 8 months pregnant, and still had no family. So fuck it. I was just like, whatever. At this point, I was tired of, you know, cutting people off for this nigga, and I wasn't getting nothing out of it. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm dead in the whole situation. Like, so pretty much I was just tired of all in one of cutting people off for him. So mind you, this was 7.5 months pregnant. So fast forward to me giving birth to my daughter. Now, let me just throw this in there. The whole time I was in the hospital, like, in pain and contractions, this nigga was knocked the fuck out. The whole time, after I had my daughter, he was on the phone with bitches. The first day, yes, he spent it with me and my daughter. But literally after that first day that I had my daughter, he was gonna leave the hospital because he had to go handle some shit and all this extra shit. So I was in the hospital, mind you. I was in the hospital for a whole week because I kept catching fevers the whole time, on and off. Like, one minute I would have a fever, the next minute I wouldn't, the next minute my fever would spike back up, and they didn't know what the fuck was wrong with me. So, meanwhile, I'm in a hospital stressing with my fucking now week-old baby, because at this point I was in the hospital for a whole week with my daughter. This nigga was nowhere to be found. He literally was at the hospital the first 2 days after I had my daughter, and then after that, he was just like, whatever, fuck it. So, fast forward, I come home, I finally get out the hospital, once again, by myself. The only people that were there was my mom and my sister when she would get out of work. But other than that, it was nothing. Like I said, at this point, I was tired of cutting people off. So BD would text me here and there. It wasn't like that consistent as it was before, like in the beginning, but he would text me here and there. So it got to the point where I was just like, fuck it. My daughter is here. You know, there's nothing I need to worry about. Obviously, I'm not going to rush into having sex with nobody. I'm sorry. That's just not my cup of tea. I'm not doing it. But I did feel as though that I was able to actually communicate more with somebody else. I started talking to him, like I said. You feel me? I started talking to him again, and I let him know, like, look, me and him not together. You feel me? And if we were to get back together, I'm not cutting you off. I don't give a fuck. Like, you feel me? You a good friend of me. You're nothing more but a friend. You feel me? Which I was lying to myself. But I kept telling him, like, you know, like, you're nothing more but a friend. And I wanted to keep it that way. Like, I don't want you to feel as though that I'm going to cut you off every time I fuck with somebody new. Like, it wasn't happening. So he was like, okay, cool. I'm fine with that. Like, you know, I'm not worried about it. You feel me? Like I said, you know, I had my own situations going on, whatever. So, fast forward to my daughter turning a month. I was done. I was completely done. I hit my 6-week mark, and I was like, yes, thank you, Lord. So, sperm donor comes over, and disclaimer, nobody really knows this about what happened between me and sperm donor after this, but this kind of tied a knot with it. Like, this was the last straw, you feel me? Like, I was good off him. I didn't want nothing to do with him, none of that. So, sperm donor tried to fuck with me again and was like, you know, came back talking about he wanted his family, all this extra caca. But, you know, me being me, I ended up giving him another chance. But this time, I did not cut off my friend. I was not cutting off my friend for you. Because at the end of the day, that was not being no real friend. So I was not cutting off my friend. Point blank period. Oh, well, I don't care. So, you know, BD was texting me, you know, and I was texting BD, and I kept telling him, you know, like, it's a lot going on, like, me and him trying to work shit out, but I'm not cutting you off, like I said. He was like, okay, cool, that's fine, like, you know, I'll just know my boundaries, you feel me? So I kept telling him, like, all right, cool, and that's one thing I can honestly say about him, about BD, that he was respectful, you feel me? So, in that situation, though, BD was real respectful, you feel me? Like, he was understanding about a lot. All right, so fast forward, like I said, we tried to work out whatever we had going on after I gave birth to my daughter, but I wasn't in it 100%. So it was a situation that went on in the midst of all of this that I'm not gonna explain on camera because, like I said, it's a little too personal. So we just gonna skip past it. You know, like, I know what happened. He knows what happened. You know, BD knows what happened because I told BD everything. So a situation happened where, you feel me, we just didn't agree on certain situations that I was going through, and whatever happened. That situation that happened, I really don't want to say nothing because a lot of people don't know, but that situation that happened kind of drove me to, like, my breaking point. This right here showed me who he really was, type shit. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm gone. Like, I'm chilling. Like, I don't know, I don't want you, I don't want nobody, you know, I don't want to deal with you, period. So he ended up, you know, cutting ties with me. Sperm donor ended up cutting ties with me, and I had ended up calling BD crying one night because of the situation I was just put through. So, like I said, I don't want to get into details about that because that's not really YouTube business, but, or anybody on here business. But so I had ended up, you feel me, like, that was just the last straw for me. Like, that was just the last straw for me. And I was just like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I'm doing me. Like, I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna raise my daughter by myself if I have to, and that's it. Like, that's it and that's all. So he ended up getting cut off. Pretty much, I was just like, fuck it. Like, it is what it is. You go your way, I'm gonna go my way. So at this point, BD started coming around. You feel me? If I needed diapers, wipes, milk for the baby, you feel me? BD had me. Like, I didn't have to go out my way for nothing. Even though that's my child and I'm gonna go out my way even if I don't have to, you feel me? He still had me. Like, if I needed anything for that little girl, he still had me. At this point, sperm donor wasn't even coming around. Sperm donor wasn't even, you feel me? Like, he wasn't helping me financially with her. He wasn't there for my child physically, mentally, nor emotionally. So at this point, it was just like, what the fuck? Like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. So me and BD started to get to know each other more. You know, we started chilling or whatever. Fast forward to October. Mind you, I had my daughter in June. So fast forward to October. It had to be already a couple months that me and BD were actually, like, talking. Now, mind you, I knew him already a year prior to this because I was pregnant with my daughter and shit like that. So it was literally about to make a year that we were friends. When we started fucking, like, you know, fucking around, like, talking and shit like that. So around October, his mom was having a Halloween party, and she was like, you know, you and the baby could come. Pretty much, like, just told him, like, yeah, you can invite her, like, you know, they could come over, like, it is what it is. So anybody that know me knows that, or anybody that knows who I'm talking about when I say BD, y'all know he from Trenton. So I was from Camden, you know, like, I'm from Camden. Obviously, I got to travel a little bit to get to him. So he ended up paying my way over there, like, paying my Uber there. And we ended up macking, like, you feel me, chilling, whatever. We talking, you know, like, talking about everything. And then it ended up just turning into, like, something more than I thought it was going to turn into. I knew me and him was eventually going to fuck around, but I didn't think we was going to actually make it this far. So, like I said, by October, my daughter was already 5 months, you feel me, or 4.5 months, I believe. And she was already, like, getting used to him. She was already, like, you know, going to him and shit like that. And fast forward to my daughter turning 7 to 8 months, she started calling him dada. So when she started calling him dada, it was kind of, it wasn't something that I forced on her. It wasn't something that I, you know, that I told her to do. Like, it wasn't something that I brainwashed her to do, because I don't do that to my children. Like, I'm not doing that to my children. You feel me? Like, it's bad enough. I hate when people come around and be like, oh, hey, auntie baby, or hey, uncle baby, and they don't even be blood related. You feel me? It's already bad enough. I hate that bullshit. So I'm not gonna sit here and force my child to call somebody dad. But eventually, like, he was the only guy figure in her life. He was the only one she woke up to, went to sleep to, you feel me? And she just started calling him dada. Like, it was just something that came naturally out of my child. Like, not only that, but you gotta remember, like, kids feel the love. You feel me? Like, kids feel the love, they feel the emotion, you know, like, they understand. You feel me? Even though we think they might not understand, they understand. Don't get me wrong, there was times where I would wish that he was around, that I wish that he was a father to her, because now I feel like it's going to be harder to explain to her when she gets older, the situation. But it's only two ways it could go. She could either hate me for the rest of her life, or she could respect me and the man that's raising her, because of the fact that, you know, no other nigga is willing to do that. Like, no other man, no other guy is willing to actually step up. And, you know, it's a handful of men that's actually willing to step up and take on a responsibility like that. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I respect him so much. Like, I give him props, you feel me? But, you know, like, eventually we started fucking around more, you know, eventually we started talking more, and we just ended up making it official. Like, you know, like, we ended up just, you know, going with the flow, you feel me? We didn't rush into nothing. I personally don't feel like we rushed into anything, you know. We didn't rush into nothing. I didn't feel as though we did, you feel me? Like, it was just something that, like, came naturally. Like, it is what it is. Y'all together. Like, you know, don't get me wrong, there was a lot that came behind him, and there was a lot of skeletons in the closet that came with him. But like I said, if y'all want to watch that, or if y'all want to hear that story time, make sure y'all click back on the last video that I posted. But yeah, like, that, I know the story time was a little short, you know, but that's how it really happened. Not only that, but I don't really remember a lot of stuff that happened in between my pregnancy. So that's why the story time was so short. But I'm probably gonna give y'all another story time about how I got pregnant by him and how that whole experience went, you know. So with that being said, your girl is closing out. Period. I love y'all. Stay safe during this Rona season. And baby, I hope y'all ready for fall, because I am.
Now from the top, make it drop. That's some wet. Now get a bucket and a mop. That's some wet. I'm talking wop, wop, wop.